2017's Ghost in the Shell is a movie about a beautifully crafted creation built on the backs of older iterations. It's a shame the film itself doesn't achieve that perfection level. We're gonna battle ghosts today on Movie Feuds. The 1995 animated classic features one very cool female protagonist, simply referred to as General. Which is good, since I can't remember names or pronunciations 90% of the time. She's the perfect killing machine, stunningly attractive and equally as deadly. She has some attitude and a rebellious side. A very layered character, constantly trying to come to terms with where she belongs in the world. I believe her real name, or the name that she's given, is Motoko Kusanagi. I butcher names often. Naturally, when she was given this big budget Hollywood makeover in 2017, director Rupert Sanders turned to go-to Asian actress Scarlett Johansson. ScarJo certainly looks the part of perfection, but she's never been the strongest in the acting department. In fact, I can't think of a single performance she's been in where she's elicited any sort of a reaction from me outside of "dat ass." I suppose playing a dead-eyed robotic character is right in her wheelhouse, but we lost a lot of traits that were in the original. Now we have a heroine who's pretty pouty and confused for the majority of the picture. She's never throwing out a one-liner or having the least bit of fun, which is a shame. Now, I'm not a hardcore 95 fan by any stretch of the imagination. I watched it once when I was like 14. Pretty sure I bought it on VHS so I could perv out to half-naked women. Times were really tough before the internet. And I rewatched it a few days ago for this feud. Outside of General, I really didn't find any other characters too compelling. I found Eye Goggles to be more enjoyable in the live-action version. And the same goes for actor Takeshi Kitano as the leader of Section 9. That dude is badass, especially later in the film when he has a standoff against 2 or 3 men. The Puppet Master villain is handled far differently between the two versions, with the live-action taking a far simpler approach to the source material, which I'll touch on a bit more in story. Heading your way now. Whoa, there it goes! We're gonna add in story flying by my head, right, Shaquille? And then you're just gonna cut this part out in editing. Okay. Because if you leave it in, I'm gonna be, standing here talking to you like a fucking idiot. Okay. Unlike the completely pointless Beauty and the Beast remake, Ghost in the Shell opts to tell a story that's a bit more original than its counterpart, yet still retains some iconic moments from the animation. These are both based off a comic, or manga if you will, which I have zero knowledge on, but I'm guessing the anime is far more in line with the ideas presented there. I would have no issues with the more streamlined, simpler story that the new movie presented had it upped the ante in other aspects, but it doesn't. Instead of being a deep, thought-provoking thriller like 95, it opts to be a run-of-the-mill, generic super cop story. The studio made a very safe film full of callbacks here and there, and it's visually brilliant. Unfortunately, it contains no substance. Many critics have referred to this as a shell without a ghost, and I completely agree. I needed 1 or 2 action scenes to really wow me, but none of them last more than a minute. I don't think 95 had the most exciting action either, and some of the dialogue can get really bland and up its own ass. The voice acting is also not too inspired, which doesn't help matters. The story, however, was and still is very intriguing and helps carry those weaker spots. Where the 2017 Ghost in the Shell lacks in compelling story and acting, it makes up for it tenfold in visuals and sound. I was completely engulfed in the amazing world these Hollywood computer animators, designers, makeup artists, etc. have crafted. The CGI is seamless 99% of the time. The anime is no slouch either, and gave plenty of inspiration to the cinematography we see in the recent incarnation. The music is incredible and noticeable in both. I really enjoyed the kind of intermission-y shots they had in 95, where there was nothing really of value being shown. It was just shots of the city, of the people walking around, of a plane going overhead, but then you had this awesome instrumental blaring. If the animated picture was too complicated at times, you could always just enjoy the pretty pictures. If the live action was too boring, you could do the same. And I can't imagine anyone's gonna argue that these aren't very well-crafted films. I was fully prepared to shit on the new flick, as is often the case for remakes. I find them insulting typically to both the property and the audience by quickly cashing in on a brand. I didn't feel that was the case here. I can also stand behind those people that found this unnecessary. Watching them both basically back to back gave me an appreciation for the craft on display and a shrug at the missed opportunities. If I had to pick a winner, it'd be the 95 movie. It was a groundbreaking film and animation in a lot of respects, and it had a really cool story that inspired the likes of The Matrix and many other sci-fi flicks. However, if I had to pick a movie to rewatch tomorrow, it would be the new one. The high gloss production value and ScarJo in a skin-tight, flesh-colored bodysuit make me a better person. I understand I'm part of the problem right now. Let's hear your thoughts, as I'm sure they're far better constructed than mine. Drop a comment, vote for your winner, and remember, this is more than just reviews, this is Movie Feuds. Can't wait for them to do a live-action remake of Akira with Jake Gyllenhaal as the lead, because Hollywood.